Welcome to the Sunday rune and card readings. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Jenny Florence and this is the Moon Magic Tarot YouTube Tarot channel. Okay, right, so that's a mouthful and a half. Now, our readings, I post readings every single week and I always post them on a Sunday. Now the readings are from this week onwards going to come in a very slightly different format because every single day I am now posting on Facebook and Instagram an image with it's the moon times. It's like a moon times table. It shows you what phase the moon is in, what sign she's in, and it will tell you if she's entering a void of course space and what those timings are. So anyone who is serious about manifesting with the moon, it will give you some really important information. But I do know not everyone uses Facebook, Instagram. So what I'm going to do every week before I draw the cards and the runes for the readings, I'm going to run through the slides for the week. So there'll just be a little slideshow. You can fast forward and skip beyond them. Once we've seen that slideshow, again, if you want to, you can bookmark, if you bookmark this page, you can actually come back to it and press the pause button and take a little bit longer if you want to take in the actual moon phases of the week ahead. Once that slideshow's gone through, I will then draw the cards and the runes as always, talk about any additional information, and then there will be the 3 readings. So the timestamps are going to be in the information box below. So literally you can fast forward just to the readings if you want to. Sometimes people choose more than one reading, more than one is really speaking to them. Go with whatever feels right for you. Some people like to sit with me as I draw the runes and the cards. Other people just already know which of the readings they're going to tune into. We're going to have some extra guidance from trees. You should be able to see in the little image in the corner there. We're going to be working with elder, with willow and with ash. It's a while since I've done any readings that tuned into nature, in particular with the trees. So that's going to be quite interesting. I'll talk about that extra guidance when I draw the cards and the runes. And it's that time of the month when I announce the winners of the free private reading, the winners of the Art of Manifestation, Astro-Moon, journal, diary and oracle cards, and they're all signed editions. So what I'm going to do is right at the end of all the readings, I will put on a video where I announce the winners. It is a subscriber offer, so it's a YouTube subscriber offer. So if you want to be in that prize draw, you will need to subscribe, press the little bell icon as well if you want to get notification of anything that I post, including the live Manifest with the Moon workshops that I'm doing. And if you then enter our email, our subscriber email list, again, the link is in the information box below and in the comments for phone users. And if you're on any of my email lists, when I do the webinars, I will give you a little bit of a nudge. I usually send out an email about a week beforehand, and then one the day before, just as a reminder. So again, if you want that little nudge, because I don't know about you, but I have never got my head quite around the way that YouTube works with its algorithms. I quite often don't get notification of things that I want and get notification of all sorts of things that I don't actually, if I'm honest. So I have no idea how it works. It's beyond me, and that is just how it is. So wonderful friends, let's now move into the slideshow of the moon positions for the coming week. Pause the video if you want to make a note of those, and again you can check in with us on Facebook too. And then I will draw the cards and the runes. Welcome everyone. This is the time when I draw the cards and the runes and talk about a little bit of additional guidance that sometimes comes through from either crystals, angels or nature, and today it is these trees. You'll have seen from the slides that we've just seen, we have a very powerful full moon eclipse coming this week in Taurus. Very interesting dynamic with that moon, because literally when she reaches her fullest, she is literally about to move into a void of course space. So it'll be very interesting to see how that energy kind of affects us in an individual way. So let's tune into the energy of these 3 readings. We're going to be, with reading number 1, tuning into the energy of Elder. Now, you can see that we are in full-blown autumn mode. That's the nature of where I am in the UK. Elder is a really magical tree. She's a tree of witches. She's known as of being the abode of witches. I've heard her called Lady of the Night. When we draw Elder into our readings, we're often talking about the real stuff of magic, but not just magic, but kind of there's something about regeneration at a cellular level, literally something that is something is transforming. It's something transformational, but through the kind of magic and the additional support, often of nature spirits. It has got that magical witchy kind of feel about it. So that's going to be the energy that's around reading number 1. Reading number 2, we have Willow. Willow is about love. Willow is about emotions, about depth. It's very interesting because Willow is actually an energy, a tree that we can really use when we are working with the moon, if we're manifesting with the moon. I'm going to talk about this in the next webinar when we focus on the new and full moons, because Willow is an energy that we can really work with in ceremony when we are working with, particularly with the pivotal key moments of the moon, the first quarter, the last quarter, the new moon and the full, to really enhance our ceremonies and the energy and empowerment of that lunar energy. So Willow tuning very much into the lunar energy, actually, and speaking to us of love, of emotions, of depth, of inspiration, revelation, very much also associated with wishes and support from the divine. It's said, as you can see, I've moved this willow into a circular piece. It's very bendy. It's said, if you again ask permission from the tree first, but if you are wanting to attract a soulmate and you go to a willow tree and ask permission for them to support you with that wish, you can actually tie a knot within that living willow tree, and when you then meet your soulmate, you go back, you give thanks, and you untie the knot, and it holds your wish for you. I will talk about this. I'll actually be doing a little video about this, which will be within that next webinar, the second webinar, Manifesting with the Moon webinar, where we talk about setting wishes and intentions around the new moon. So that's reading number 2, Willow, love, emotions, depth. And reading number 3, we have a selection of ash leaves that have fallen from a very beautiful ash tree. And ash is associated, it's interesting, it's one of the few trees that's really associated with the energy of fire, actually. It's very direct. There's quite a fiery, dynamic, fast forward, go in a straight line, know where you're going, set your goals, stay on course, be inspired, determination. That's the flavour and energy of ash, and that is the energy that is surrounding reading number 3. So I'm going to move these beautiful little collections over here, and we'll start drawing some cards and runes. So I think, first of all we'll draw from a tarot pack. This is the Light Seers Tarot. I'm then going to draw from a lovely little pack of angel cards. Just one from this pack. We will then draw from the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards. And for our cards, a beautiful spirit animal guide. I'm also going to draw the runes. So wonderful friends, these are the cards we've drawn. We have 4 tarot, an angel card, the Art of Manifestation oracle cards, and a spirit animal guide, and 3 runes as well. Now, you may want to press the pause button for a moment or two if you're not quite sure, even as I'm laying out the cards. If it isn't apparent to you which reading is really calling to you, just take your time, press the pause button, listen to your intuition, and just see where it takes you. And yeah, I will leave you to just trust and follow your instincts, and I will see you in the readings. Tons of love to you. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 1. Let's have a look at our runes. So we have the rune of journey. It's interesting, it's in reverse. The rune of journey, gosh, and another reverse. Right, we have the rune of journey, we have the rune of the warrior, the spiritual warrior. Let's move our cards over here. We might do some energy shifting here, we'll see. Rune of the warrior, the rune of journey, the rune of the warrior, and the rune of signs, signals, and synchronicities. Now, what this is suggesting to me is that something is feeling as if it's not so much that it's blocked, but it's not quite ready to emerge. It's not quite ready to fall into place yet. The way will be shown. Signs, look for the signs is what I want to say. Raven, shaman, you are the creator and magician. Use your gifts for good. There is power in your wisdom and words. Connect with the elemental spirits and glide through the void. Claim your place as keeper of the mysteries. This is so aligned with Elder. I mean, the energy of Elder is this magical energy. It's the shamanic energy. It's the energy of the elemental spirits. You're being invited to journey, literally. For those of you that have ever been involved in shamanic journeying, you know, if you are looking for signs, signals, if you're needing to be shown the way, gosh, especially with the full moon that's coming up, the full moon eclipse, the energy of an eclipse is amazing because it really offers us an opportunity to literally to sort of step through the void. It's like the veil is thin. And during eclipse season, we can often see a kind of in meditation, we can almost see a timeline. We can go back to where we came from, see what influences are still affecting us, and move forwards and through and sort of visioning the future. I mean, Raven journeys between the worlds. This is a major invitation for you. Let's see what other cards we're offered. So, release negative habits. We have the card of the moon. We have the 8 of Cups. We have the Ace of Wands. We have the 9 of Pentacles. And we have this beautiful card. Exercise to increase your energy and manifestation abilities. The key to manifesting quickly is to have very high energy levels, and the easiest way to increase them is through physical exercise. Choose a fun and meaningful activity so you'll look forward to exercising and it becomes its own reward. This is an invitation, this reading. In fact, I'm going to... I said I might do some energy shifting. But you know, in a way, I don't know that we need to. I feel like I want to say to you, look, everything is going to fall into place here. Put the runes up here. You see, you need to let go of something in terms of some sort of negative habit. It could be an attitude, it could be, you know, when we ruminate and we revisit the past. I feel as though something around you, it's like, hasn't quite yet emerged, but you really are in that pivotal space of new beginnings. I literally feel that I have to say there's, and I don't know what you guys are feeling in your physical body, because Elder speaks of regeneration at a cellular level. I've got this incredible tingling in my sort of, yeah, in my solar plexus. It's like right, it's a real, yeah, a real burst of creativity. It's like my creative center within my belly is tingling. Now we will perhaps do some energy moving, but I sort of want to say I feel that you are actually being asked to journey, to look, to see clearly, to dive deep, particularly at the time of the full moon eclipse. So this is coming this week, because I think you're going to be shown something of clarity, of your direction, of your pathway. Something hasn't become, something isn't quite clear. It's almost like if you were playing, I don't know, if you were playing a game of chess, for example, you know, and you're waiting to decide what your next move might be, okay? As you're waiting, it's almost as if you just haven't quite decided what that next step might be. I think there is something around you that you know you need to let go of. Release negative habits. We all form habits and patterns in our lives, whether in thought or in action. But like a pair of comfortable old slippers, there comes a time when they outgrow their value to us and we must let them go. Do something different today that shakes you out of your usual ways of responding, and have fun doing so. Raven, journey between the worlds. There is some discernment required. The rune of the warrior, it speaks of the cutting away of the old, letting go of something. I almost feel like there's one last thing you need to let go of. It's that something that has been holding you back, and it may even be that you've been procrastinating over something. You haven't been certain. The key here is keeping your energy levels high. It may also be that you've been involved in something that lowers your energy levels, actually. But one way or the other, it's about to shift. That's what I'm seeing. The moment you identify, I think this is a really potentially, I mean, every full moon is important to us, of course, but for you guys, particularly in terms of manifestation, in terms of new beginnings, in terms of reaping the rewards of your own success. It's like being a self-made, I'm not going to say self-made man, but self-made person. Do you know what I mean? And yet Spirit really has your back. It's something is about to emerge. Something is literally about to burst forth. But there's something in your world that has been holding you back. Now, for some of you, it is a negative thinking pattern. For others, I think there's been stuff that's just been showing up, and part of the pattern possibly is not knowing when to say no, or even how to say no. But it's about to shift. I think this full moon is going to be the shift of energy for you. It's when something will become clear to you. It's why I'm really reticent. It's quite interesting. If I could flip the runes over, if I had another rune of journey and another rune of the warrior, then I think what I'd want to do is flip them over and have a mirror of them. So I'd have the central rune of the signs. I feel like you're in a space of needing to journey inwards, because something of the next step forwards isn't quite clear. You know that there's something that's hovering or lingering, the moment that becomes clear, I think then it's as though we then have these runes continuing. It's like we'd revisit them. I think then we would see the rune of journey in the upright position. In fact, again, to be a perfect mirror, it would be like this. This would be the reverse. Then the energy shifts and you cut away the old. You know what it is that you're leaving behind, and you move forwards, a surge of energy forwards. There's something about maintaining your energy levels or something around you. Some of you, there may be some aspect of addiction or some kind of just like eating the wrong foods. That's why I thought of addiction, or drinking the wrong drinks. It's that sort of stuff of, or hanging out with the wrong people, or there's just something, some kind of energy around that has been holding you back, and it's kind of time to let that go. It's almost like needing to say no to somebody or something. The universe really supports you though, and you literally are about to burst forwards. We've had so much really powerfully challenging energy around, and we're just coming out of the retrograde time into a space of moving forwards. The big 3 monthly readings that I did, you know, there was a shift going on as we came out of the retrograde energy at the end of October. There was a lot of shifting going on, and the way not really becoming, or the energy not really moving forwards for many people until December, but nevertheless real energetic shifts, pivotal turning points. And we are of course now in the tribal moon phase of Walks Tall Woman. You know, this is about, you know, also allowing yourself to receive help. You can be a self-made person, but you're allowed to actually get help from people as well. You can reach out to, and you can certainly reach out to spirit, and actually very especially to nature, to elemental spirits. I think this shift is literally about to happen, and I think it's going to tie in with the full moon. I think the signs, signals, synchronicities will become apparent. So really, you know, listen to that energy this week, because I think it will be very powerful for you guys, really particularly powerful. I'm going to leave it there for this week's reading number 1 for the weekly readings, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to subscribe if you want to get updates, and if you want to be in the monthly prize draw, do join the subscriber email list as well. And yeah, watch out for the Manifest with the Moon workshop, because I will be at the end of November, I will be talking about using the full moon and the new moon energy and some of the tribal moon cycles as well. Tons and tons of love to you all. Namaste. Welcome to reading number 2. Let's have a look at the runes. We have the blank rune, we have the rune of protection, and we have the rune of partnership. That's interesting because Willow is all about emotions, love. The rune of protection actually speaks of control of the emotions, you know, navigating our emotions, understanding our emotions as a source of empowerment rather than a block. So, and the rune of partnership, it speaks of one-on-one relationship. Sometimes this suggests an intimate relationship, a love relationship. Sometimes it can be a business partnership, but either way it's a one-on-one connection. And both of them speak of control of the emotions. Now the blank rune is a rune of possibility. It's like something for me that's about to give birth, where it's a rune of gestation. See what cards we're shown. Lion, higher calling. You have within you all the courage you need. Let go of the past and reclaim your majesty. You will find success and contentment with those by your side. Make noble choices for your life and your tribe. It's very powerful. We have 7 of Pentacles, 9 of Wands, Ace of Swords, 7 of Swords. Gosh, they're real. I feel like we're really in this space of pivotal turning points. This is what the readings seem to be showing. Probably not really surprising then that we have a full moon eclipse at the moment, you know, this week. Forgiveness of others. This is very much, we lean into the energy of forgiveness around the full moon. Face your financial fears. When you're honest with yourself about fears of success or failure, they can no longer control you. Be free of hidden fears by exposing them to the light of awareness, and you'll realize that you have in fact nothing to fear, and that every successful person has struggled with and released these self-doubts. I think that's actually really, really true. I think people who are successful really learn to navigate their emotions again. So I think for some of you guys, I'm going to move these cards along a little bit, because I feel like this is a real pivotal turning point. And that figures we're in eclipse season. Eclipse season is so powerful in terms of, you know, a turning point where things, the energy really shifts. A lot of people have just been working so hard and not seeing things emerge. And I think things are about to take that kind of potential shift. The eclipse full moon is a great time for release. It's a great time for renewed energy, renewed vitality from release, and often from forgiveness. Now this is really interesting, because it does say forgiveness does not mean that if something bad happened that was okay. Forgiveness means that we choose to move beyond the experience and to release any ongoing need for retribution. In doing so, we no longer need to keep the memory of what happened alive within us. This choice reinstates our entitlement to be in charge of our own lives. Lion, higher calling. There's been a fear holding you back. It's really interesting because it feels like it's a final hurdle. And I don't know whether to say this is about an intimate love relationship or whether it is about a business partnership. Money's involved here. Okay. It's like maybe for some of you, you've had a bad experience, either in a business relationship or actually even personally. You had a bad experience of maybe being with someone, I'm going to say someone who was a bit of a taker, actually. Someone who thought they could lean in on you, somebody who thought they could kind of use you in some way. I'm just going to zoom in, get my mouse up and just zoom into the camera a little bit more so we can see the cards, I hope a little more clearly. I don't think the camera is as clear as I would like it to be. I'm not quite sure why it's not focusing in quite that way. Let's bring this in. I hope that's coming a little bit clearer. Now, what this reading I think is really saying is, kind of want to say you're worthy. Okay, this, you know, it's like I feel like somebody left you not feeling as though you were worthy, or leaving you with a lot of anxiety. I mean, for some of you it is actually literally you had a really tough experience, I think, within a relationship. Literally, I think you just, whether it was somebody who was really narcissistic or somebody who was, just to be quite honest, a bit of a taker. But this is really saying, look, you will find success and contentment with those by your side. Find the courage and let go of the past. Because if we've been really bitten badly, it's really difficult, because it stops us from, I mean, I don't know, narcissistic, takey people, truly, I think they just erode self-esteem, and they often leave, I'm going to call it, their victims. You know, it's really interesting. Narcissistic people always see themselves as a victim, and yet actually they target people, they pick on people, they choose their victims, and when they do, it's the person that they've used who is left actually in quite a bad way, you know, often with a lot of fears and inhibitions and concerns and a lot of emotional stuff. Hence we have the rune of protection here. Boundaries, 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 control of the emotions. But everything here is ripe for a new beginning for you. Ace of Swords, this is about you. It's really interesting, I would say, starting to let your mind take over. You know, sometimes a reading will tell us, look, you need to listen to your heart. At other times, a reading will say, actually listen to let your mind take over, because sometimes the mind needs to be quite firm and say, if your heart has been wounded, you know, all of the emotional energy of beautiful Willow speaking to us here. If your heart has been wounded, you know, put that behind you. I really do think some of you got stung really badly, and it's left its mark, and it's almost left you afraid of being able to enter into a relationship with somebody new, whether this is a business partnership or it's an intimate relationship. One way or the other, I think you've had to tackle somebody who was really, if I'm honest, a significant taker. That's really all that's coming through here. It's really clear. It's time for a new beginning. It's time for you to take charge of your life, to find that courage. Put this behind you. This is not your place anymore. Now we're in a space of gestation. I'm going to shift some energy here just by moving the cards and runes around and by using the willow here, which is about love. So you're being invited here to step into that shift. This, you know, to move, you know what you want. The goal is in sight. You know what you really, really desire. And it's time you embraced it. It's time you had this for yourself. So I'm going to move the Lion cards. I'm going to move these cards over, and I'm going to place the Willow here, right in the middle of the reading. It's time to move, to enter into that space of love, to make that commitment, to set those wishes for yourself. Lion, higher calling. This is time, the time is ripe for you to start to move forwards. Nurture yourself, nurture your dreams. You're in a phase of gestation. Boundaries, boundaries, boundaries. You have every right to hold your boundaries. Find that courage within. Take that step forwards. Move towards your goals and your visions. Hold your intentions. There's a final testing. That's all this has been. You can see where you're going. Find that courage. In fact, I'm going to place the final testing card over here. You're moving beyond that. What will happen is you're going to find that renewed energy, that ability to move forwards. 2 sevens. I mean, guys, the timing is right. The timing is absolutely right to step into that pathway, that new direction. You've been waiting for this for a while. You've been pondering, deliberating, processing the outcome of the past. It's time now to leave that firmly behind you and move forwards. Leave that behind you. The testing that came, it will make you stronger. You have the right to find your own direction. Don't be tied by whatever happened to you. Don't carry that baggage, that emotional baggage. It's time to move forwards. The energy of partnership, of relationship is around you. One way or the other, it's around you. This is an invitation to say, go on, take it. You take it. You have it this time. You know, it's time to move forwards and release the past. Face those anxieties. You can always hold your boundaries, and you can navigate and nurture yourself into a space where you find that confidence and that renewed vitality and direction within relationship, that renewed confidence. Make noble choices for your life and your tribe. You know, again, your energy and your vitality and your happiness will actually benefit everybody, not just you. Going to wrap this up. Wonderful, wonderful friends, thank you so much for joining me for these readings. I hope to see you in perhaps for the webinar, the next webinar, and obviously if you haven't seen the first one, the Manifest with the Moon webinar, do check it out. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much for joining me. Tons and tons of love to you, and to all of you who have subscribed and shared and liked. Thank you so much. You are awesome. Welcome to reading number 3 with the beautiful energy of Ash. Lots of quite fiery energy, go-getting energy, determination. Let's have a look and see what our runes are showing. So we have the rune of growth, Berkana. This is suggesting a new phase of life. terminations, new beginnings, a new period of growth and emergence in some way, shape or form. You have the rune of possessions as well, nourishment. This is ambition satisfied. And the rune of wholeness would suggest there's one way to go, I would say. Let's have a look and see. Dear love, be gentle with yourself. You heal with the power of love. See the light in all things. Acknowledge your self-worth and grace. Let's see what else we have here. Ooh, Five of Swords. This is a bit of a, it's like, for me, this is a card of worry. Almost like, I think sometimes for me, the Five of Swords says, you know, you're worrying more than you need to. Okay. We have the Magician, card of manifestation. The World. Completions, terminations, new beginnings, completions and beginnings, celebrations as well. And the Empress, card of motherhood, of pregnancy, of new beginnings, of birthing something into the world. The Spiritual Warrior and words of abundance. Okay. Are you putting yourself under an excessive amount of pressure? That's what I want to say. It's like, I feel like this is a reading of reassurance. I feel like it's saying to you, you know, especially as a weekly reading, because weekly readings are very different to the big monthlies when we're looking at, you know, or a personal reading when we're looking at, you know, a greater period of time and we're looking at more details. Weekly readings for me are very much about touching base, being given that bit of extra guidance in that moment that we need right now. Ash is all about determination, healing as well, teaching, healing, counselling, healing energy, but fire energy, being able to move something forwards. You're worrying. I feel that it's either you're worrying or something landed in your world that caused you to feel a little bit, or maybe even for some of you perhaps quite a lot, overloaded by something, excessively worrying about something. This reading is actually saying, I really feel it's like reassurance. It's saying, look, you don't have to worry about this. Be gentle with yourself. Be kind. I think it's working out. Whatever you're moving through with, there's something quite new, a new phase, whether it's for some of you it could be a new job, you could have moved house, you could have, you know, it's a generic reading, so there's something quite new. There's a new phase where you're doing something differently, or you're trying to get something set up, or you're building something. It's like if you were writing a book, it's like you've started writing a book. If anyone's doing that NaNoWriMo challenge, I don't know how many of you know about that. It's, you know, November is write a novel in a month. And there's an organisation called NaNoWriMo who put tons and tons of resources out there to support people. You can get writing buddies and all sorts of things to write that novel in a month. Really, really interesting. But it's like, yeah, it's almost like you're having that wobble. You're not believing that this is going to happen. But this feels to me to be really reassuring. It's sort of saying, look, actually, you're in this space of transition. You're manifesting, you know, something is coming to an end and something else is beginning. And it is the pathway you must follow. So whatever goal or intention you have recently set for yourself, trust it. It's really interesting, actually. It's really tuning me into when we did the first of the Manifest with the Moon webinars the other day, and we'll be doing a second at the end of November. When we did the first one, there was, you know, right at the end in the Q&As, you know, a couple of people were saying, look, I've been trying to manifest something and it hasn't yet happened. And I mean, in a way, I touched a little bit on that, and did say I'd come back to it with the full, because we'll be talking about the full and new moons, particularly in manifestation, in the second webinar. But some of the big derailers that I spoke about in manifestation are when we get into a space of self-doubt or we have a wobble. This is really saying to you, keep going, persevere, whatever goal, intention, desire you set for yourself. Keep going. Ambition satisfied, unexpected rewards gains. Don't be afraid to embrace the pathway that is really speaking to your heart, the pathway that's really singing to you, okay? Don't be afraid to do that, because there's something that's really emerging. I think when we start anything new, it's like if we move house, we arrive and we're exhausted because we've been packing and cleaning and, you know, all sorts of stuff's been going on. And what we actually have to do is to give ourselves time and space to get grounded, bed in, find our place in that. And I feel like you guys haven't yet found your place. You're on the road to something new, and therefore it's that moment of, which I think happens at times of new beginnings. And maybe partly because this is something you really, really want to do, that's why it's also feeling a bit more challenging, because if it really matters, then we often feel a little bit more raw about it. But I actually think this is happening. I think this is sort of saying, look, come on, this is going to emerge. This phase of investment is going to happen. Now, this says you have the ability to instantly manifest abundance by choosing powerfully positive words. Always describe your own and the world's economic situation in loving and optimistic terms, and that is what you attract for yourself and others. So there's something about holding that perspective of optimism. I'm going to do a tiny bit of shifting with the energy here. So if we just sit with this as it is, because you need to be gentle with yourself. There's something about your heart's desire, the pathway you must follow, the pathway to wholeness. You're worrying about it. I'm going to bring this down. I'm going to ask you to really consider the language you use, both, you know, around others and, you know, in your own mind, particularly with yourself. Okay, consider that this is a way of helping those manifestations to shift and move forwards. The Magician is a card of manifestation. There's going to come a time of celebration and rebirth. Now we have this week. These are weekly readings where we tune in for guidance, for that weekly guidance. This is a week when we see a full moon eclipse. And eclipse season is so dynamic in terms of shifting of energy. I think you're going to see possibly something arriving unexpectedly that opens up your renewed trust, faith, optimism potentially here. One way or the other, it's the pathway you must follow. I mean, this is rewards, unexpected rewards, gains, surprises. Also sometimes something coming in a way that you didn't expect it. It asks you to remember to share your good fortune. So yeah, I think this is literally put this behind you, put the worry down and hold that mindset of positivity. Be gentle with yourself. See the light in all things and acknowledge your self-worth, and your entitlement is coming through here. The pathway of the spiritual warrior and the calling of your soul. There's something you've started or you're moving into, and it's something you really want. And yet I think maybe there are just things that show up that divert you or stop you from leaning into that. But this is really offering you the assurance that this is the right pathway for you. Listen to that which is really, whatever it is that makes your heart sing and gives you that really positive mindset, then that is the pathway to follow. Wonderful friends, I'm going to leave it at that, I think. Yeah, I look forward to seeing you guys again, perhaps in the Manifest with the Moon webinars. The first one was recorded. It will be up on YouTube probably till the end of the year, and I will put the links in the information box below. And the second is now scheduled, so you can tune into that, bookmark the page, and yes, hopefully there'll be no kind of hiccups to going live, but you know, if it is, we'll put stuff in the chat so that you know what's happening if there are any delays, but hopefully there won't be. So wonderful friends, tons and tons of love to you. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you soon. And guys, for those of you that are subscribed and, you know, for liking and sharing, thank you so, so, so much. You guys are awesome. Tons of love. Namaste. Welcome everyone to the announcement of the winners of my monthly draw. I will, as always, be giving away a free private reading, a first signed limited edition set of the Art of Manifestation Oracle cards, and an Art of Manifestation Astro-Moon diary and journal, signed copies. So guys, without further ado, I will announce the winners, and guys, do get in touch with me, winners, via the A to Z of Emotional Health website. That's www.azemotionalhealth.com. There's a contact page on the homepage there, and you can get in touch with me there so that we can make the arrangements to get your goodies to you. Tons and tons of love to you, and thank you all so much for subscribing, liking, sharing. You guys are just awesome. Thank you for being a part of this amazing community. Tons and tons of love to you. Have an amazing week.